me. I'm your host, Malibu Dan, and this is In the Living Room with your host, Malibu Dan, and I'm really, truly excited about today's show. I'm here with my, I don't even know how to put, I mean, I consider you my boss, my mentor, someone who I look up to, someone who when I talk about you, Suzanne, I talk about you from an angle of a person who has accomplished so much. Suzanne, Sienna. Did I pronounce
Sini.
it? Sini. What an asshole I am.
Well,
right?
you knew me as Suzanne Davidson.
Maybe,
so
yes.
It was much easier back then.
It was. But for someone who brought me along on your journey, I should have enough respect and knowledge to know how to pronounce your last name. So I apologize. Okay, Suzanne, there's so many things I've got to dive into in a short period of time. First, I want to talk a little bit about the adventure that you had been through with migrating over to your own broker. Now, this is Innovate Realty, okay? We're a newer brokerage when it comes to the scheme and life of how brokers usually live, and especially here in Southern California, where we are based out of. We're among some of the largest brokerages in the nation, okay? Yeah. And for you to come across and say, you know what, man, I want to do this right. I want to do it for the agents. I want to do it for, for the people who actually love doing this business.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. So, but prior to this, and going back to what you did mention, was we did know each other. We were part of Certere Properties together, which is a wonderful brokerage, also based out of here in Orange County. We were part of a team for a little while, which I actually really respected how that team lead ran the show.
Oh, yeah. I talk about it all the time that she was the best mentor I ever had.
Right. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as time goes on and things progress, everyone kind of goes their own way. And you went with a brokerage that teamed up with Zillow.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I find absolutely fascinating. Yeah. So what I like to do is I'd like to kind of dive a little bit into that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then migrate over to Innovate.
Yeah, no, that was I'm glad you brought that up because that was a crazy time. I got word. So I entered the real estate space. I was with you at Certere. And I heard through the grapevine that Zillow was going to start buying and selling properties. But they were starting in Riverside County, which we are here in Orange County.
Right.
So I wanted to figure out a way to get involved with that somehow. So I ended up partnering with a broker that had a team of about 25 agents in Riverside County. And then I went to Zillow and I said, I know you guys have interviewed like 200 agents and every single person is banging down your door for this. But I partnered with, this brokerage. I'm in Riverside. I know what to do. I had a little history coaching with Zillow. And so, yeah, they interviewed a lot of people, and they had actually nobody knows this. I'm going to say it.
Give it to me. I love it. It's controversial. I love it.
So they had actually interviewed the person that I partnered with and called it a no.
Oh, fun.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. Cat's out of the bag, and I love it.
So I went to them and I said, hey, look, he's got a great presence in Riverside County, and I'll be there for the back end systems.
Right.
Will you give me this opportunity?
Now, let me ask you. They gave it to you. Because I will tell you that they made the right choice because you're pretty incredible. You just are. I mean, I've been doing this now 15 years. And what I really do enjoy about the industry is our freedom. Okay, our freedom to pick and choose who we want to work with, how we want to approach things. Yeah, it's really it's a journey for sure. We're not in sales. That's the misconception.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never sold anything.
In real estate. I hate that misconception. I cannot stand being compared to like a car salesman or I mean, we are just hoping. We are literally hoping people buy and sell properties.
You know, what I try to do, Suzanne, when I go into a house, you know, I'm rainbows and butterflies. You know what I'm saying?
I do know.
Okay.
I do know.
But I'll go into a house and I'll tell people straight up, you know, all the negatives.
Yeah, me
right?
too.
Right. I don't, the positives are easy. Homie, if you can get through the negatives, buy the house.
Yep.
Okay. If that street doesn't bother you, you know, then, and you could overcome it, sign up. Absolutely. Now, the thing about the Zillow was now, I kind of want to tread lightly here because, well, you know why? This is the thing, okay? See, I appreciate Zillow, okay? I appreciate Zillow because they really are a facet of our industry that, let me back up, okay? Here's a company that said, you know what? We're going to do it, and we're going to do it better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And they did it so well that they actually became a true threat to every realtor out there. I don't care whether or not you're selling $12 billion a year or $12 a year. They were or are a threat. Yeah. Even to the point where I have several clients that when I have a listing, the first place I go is Zillow. And if they don't like how that looks on Zillow, I get the call.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why does it only say two bathrooms and I have 4?
And then I get the call, which is like, Suzanne, how do we change this on Zillow?
Yeah, right. Then you get the call. Which reminds me, I got to ask you a question off the air, okay? Anyway, okay. So listen, okay? So when Zillow came out with their iBuying program, okay, it really was a very challenging time for your traditional realtor. Yeah. Period. Yeah. Okay. So, and I did 2 deals. Yeah. Okay. Over the, what was it? Lasted for 3 years. Okay. And I was able to do a couple of deals, and the agents on the other end were very, very sweet, but also somewhat out of touch because corporate was involved and whatnot. Okay. So my first question is, when you took the job, okay, did you think that it might be difficult with the other agents out there?
I had a feeling
that
I was going to be enemy number 1.
Right.
You know, I think we all know what the Zillow conception is out there, and what you either love them or you hate them, right? And so there were haters, and to this day, I mean, there were people that went after us just because of that relationship. Right. And a lot of things, I mean, looking back now, so much of it was out of our control because it was really the Zillow process that we were following with the way that they wanted to buy and sell houses. But we took the brunt of that. And so, I mean, there were people that would just report us to the DRE for like anything they could. Sure. And if you remember, the time that they were doing this is really important because it was 2019 to 2021, which, if you don't know, the market was wild. Right. I mean, we were getting 30 offers on some of these properties that we were selling. So it was a madhouse. Yeah. And so if somebody's offer wasn't accepted, we were kind of taking the hit. So sure. I probably, in 2019, I don't think I knew that we would be that hated. Right. But by the end of it, I was well aware with how everyone felt about us having this relationship. So even now, I don't talk about it very often. This is actually the first time I've talked about it since 2021.
I mean, by the way, listen, I have to tell you, everything, there could be one realtor or 100,000 realtors listen to this. Yeah. I don't care who you are. If you had the opportunity to make the kind of money and grow your career and enhance and improve your ability to do, anyone would have taken it. Right. Okay. So, and then I understood. Right. Okay. Now, with that being said, Zillow came in, they were really doing very well. There was a momentum going on there. And I really think that their downfall was inevitable only because, that we're in an industry of relationships. We're in a business of partnerships with clients. And their approach was a pure business approach. Let's call it, in today's environment, an AI approach. Okay, so I just got a conversation with my client about AI. Yeah. Okay, and he's like, you know what? You're going to have to adjust. I'm like, how? Yeah. Are you going to have a computer show you the house? Yeah. Okay, are you going to have it's no one show up at your home inspection and then you'll just hey AI the faucet's leaking. What do I do?
Yeah,
it's much like tow trucks are always in need. Okay, I don't care what kind of car you've got. Every single person who's owned a car throughout the last 40 years has used a tow truck.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same thing with real estate. You can't replace the warmth feel from a genuinely caring realtor. Okay. With all that being said, did you find that there was a longevity in their plan, or did you know, okay, I'm going to ride this wave?
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that. I really wonder how much I'm allowed to say, to be honest. But what I will say, because it really is exactly what you're saying, but I think not how you think you're saying it. So I don't think Zillow.
That's my life story, by the way.
Let me tell you, because I don't think Zillow ever set out to cut an agent out.
Right.
I think there was always supposed to be an agent. And I think that what they did want to do is take the commissions from the agent. But also, I think where that, AI analogy really fits in and really was the downfall was when it comes to comping out the properties. They really put a lot of effort into removing the human element and basing things much more on their Zestimate and their algorithm than what our real estate agents were saying a home should be worth.
Right.
Which ultimately is why they ended up kind of pulling out of this.
Sure.
They lost a lot of money because their algorithm was incorrect.
Right.
So,
right. Well, listen, I lost two listings because I came in at fair market value, and the sellers were like, "Hey, look, I can't go with you. Zillow's going to give me another $100,000 more." I'm like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
How do you not do it?
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
Right?
You wouldn't be doing your client, you would be doing them a disservice.
That's right.
Telling them not to do it.
And the holdover costs for these homes had to be immense.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do think that there was an untold story between all realtors that we weren't going to show the Zillow homes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is hard for me to say.
Well,
but
I mean, I think it quite frankly didn't matter because the clients are still going to see it. They're going to put it all over Zillow. So if you do something like that, you're only hurting yourself. But what I will say is I think that with all of those costs, there was a point where we said, hey guys, like, what are you doing? Like you are overpaying for these houses. So it's not that Zillow didn't know that, but what their mentality was, or at least we thought what their mentality was at the time, was that it's okay for us to overpay because we're getting our name out here in the market. And this is a long-term play. So if your neighbor tells you, hey, I just sold my house to Zillow for $200K more than it's worth, you're probably, when you're going to sell your home, you're going to go to Zillow first, right?
All day long.
So, so a lot of that was marketing and how they were coming into the market and taking over. So some of that is the cost of doing business.
Sure.
Until it's not. Until you are not in business anymore.
That's right.
Buying and selling houses.
That's exactly right. I remember, so it's very funny. I remember a few things in my life. I remember my children being born. Okay. I remember, okay, which is great. Thank God. Right. I remember, my bar mitzvah. Okay. And I remember the day Zillow folded. It was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember it. And what it was it was just kind of a breath going out of the, okay. Cause before that was Purple Bricks. I don't know if you remember Purple Bricks.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was the same type of thing where it's like, okay, where once, flat fee. $3,500 and that be that. So, I feel that with our industry, we have to make adjustments and we have to make certain transition to keep up with the ever flow of the market and the industry. And people do come in and they try different things, but nothing ultimately beats what really works, which is just a caring agency. And that's where I want to kind of slide into Innovate Realty. So I will tell you, I'm again, a decade and a half doing this. I've always lived real estate. I never thought about getting into it because I was a radio guy for absolutely ever, and that's kind of where I thought it would be. And then things happen with radio, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to follow my passion. Got into real estate, and I joined Coldwell Banker, they were wonderful, but the people I joined with, my muse and team, they went to Certere Properties, so I went there, and then from there I kind of migrated through. Okay, and I've been to way too many brokerages than I would like to admit, not for any other reason than I've never got kicked out of a brokerage. Not yet.
That's nice.
Okay, right. All right.
Knock on wood.
Good news. Interview's not over yet. Okay. So I never got kicked out of a brokerage, but I've always migrated through. And what happened was, I'm tired of changing.
Yeah.
Okay. And this last change, what happened was I told, I've got several repeating clients who are really my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Okay. And I called them all up, and I was with another broker that sold, okay, and then I wound up prior to here going with another brokerage that I really just had an incredibly turmoil, just horrible time with.
Yeah.
And then at that point when I knew I was leaving, I was like, one stop. That's it, man. Okay, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I've reached my 50s. I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. I'm done with changing. I've got to find a home. Okay. And I did interview several different places, and they all, pull out the red carpet and they want you to join them, and they all have something to offer. But what was really important, which is sincerity. Okay. And that's where I'm in love with Innovate Realty, is because your amount of support for your agents and the sincerity. I mean, before we went on with the podcast, we were talking about something very important, to all of us. Okay. I mean, I made your partner Sierra cry, which
That's very common.
Which is common.
Don't
All
worry.
right. All right.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Happens all
Thank
the
goodness,
time.
because she's crying over in the corner. I insult Junior, who's doing the podcast. I mean, everyone's mess up your last name. Everything's a mess. But you sit there and you look at me like you truly care. Like, don't worry, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't, and you say it like you truly know it, and you care. And when I met with you guys, and your counterpart Johnny, who is equally as amazing. Okay. I have to tell you, I felt like I was at home, and I couldn't wait to start. And I'm now here, I think 5-6 months. And I couldn't imagine, and I'm talking like all the agents, we all talk to our friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all talk,
Yeah.
And nobody, when you make the move, the people at my last brokerage are like, so tell me, are you coming back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
they want to hear
they want to hear it.
Yeah. They want to hear the tea.
That's it.
Like, did you make a mistake?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. How much do they, how much they really suck?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Dude, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
This company does not disappoint. So let me ask you, you obviously decided to make the migration over. Okay. Was that while you were still at Zillow and you knew this was coming to an end? Or was it like, shoot, it's Tuesday and they're out, now where?
No. So, I mean, I think if you rewind to the beginning of my story, I partnered with someone for Zillow to get that relationship, because we ended up not only representing them in Riverside, but Orange County and San Diego as well. And I knew that was the only way that we were going to be able to grow. I had to land the Riverside operation.
Right.
So, I don't want to say anything bad about anyone, but a partnership that's based on that, on maximizing an opportunity.
Right.
It's two people doing that. And that wasn't necessarily right long term. So it was the partnership that we needed to have during that time. And, I have nothing but respect for my old partner. And, we needed each other at that time. But once that was over, it's like, okay, what's next? And there are differences in the way that I lead and most people lead, as you can as you were just saying, it is more about people to me than anything else. I to a fault, to my detriment, do not look at numbers. People like numbers.
Right.
I just don't. And I look at people like people. So it's funny, this timing of this conversation too, because we held a big event last week because we're expanding to Westlake Village, Calabasas, Channel Islands, Ventura. And so we met with a lot of agents there. And, as we're trying to explain what we do, it's almost like the same thing that I say when I'm on a listing presentation, where every single brokerage has the ability to give you what I'm giving you.
Right.
They do. Like every single agent has the ability to do drone footage for their seller and offer them a marketing package and send out flyers and everything else.
International marketing. Right.
But what's the difference between agent X and agent Y? It's the agent,
right.
And it is the brokerage. It is the people behind it that makes the difference. So yes, we have all the tools in the world. I am biased and think that they're better than everybody else's because I have the best team, because I have the best media team who's helping us right now with the podcast. I have the best marketing team. I have the best people surrounding me because I'm a good person.
Yes. Yeah.
And I care about people. So I have found my people that also care about people. So at the end of the day, we can make all of the shiny, new things for agents. We can roll out the red carpet. But if you don't have a good heart and actually support your agents, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter.
Well, what I also think is funny, is I think that being able to better your career and better yourself will also changes with brokerages. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, again, I've got great friends. I've been with one broker for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I know that not only do I make per transaction more than they do because of my split, which means a lot. Okay. And I'll explain in a minute, but I know that if I have any issues or any problems or any comments or any concerns or whatever it is, it's answered and it's cared for and they want to make sure I'm happy and they want to. But the reason why I bring this up is it doesn't make any sense why they don't make moves.
Yeah.
Okay. I know they'd be happier where I'm at. I just spoke with my buddy Jess and I'm like, look, man, you know what? You're over at your broker. That's really awesome. You just sold a $6.5 million home. Okay. I'm really happy for you, homie.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you, do they care?
Yeah.
Right? Because I know at my brokerage, I sell a $650,000 and I get a call.
Congratulations.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you did it. Right on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the reality of it is that every now and then, more nows than thens, people need the pat on the back. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they need to know, like we were just talking about, it's a very, very lonely business.
Yeah.
That, by the way, is my biggest issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that I love camaraderie. I love being a part of, partnerships and I love the journey with my family, you and Sierra and Junior and Johnny and David. And these are all people that are in the background that support me. Right. I know that these people don't get that. Listen, we only have another 6 minutes or so, which really sucks because I feel like
we could do this all day.
I could do it all day long.
Yeah.
But before we do sign off, I wanted to ask, when you came into Innovate, I know that you've got Paul, right, who is a partner and a friend. Did you have a vision of how you wanted it to be?
Yeah. So my first brokerage that I joined, I just knew I didn't want it to be like that. I walked into the brokerage and I felt that I just felt that like cutthroat, just competitive mentality. Where I felt like that brokerage could care less whether I was there or not.
Right.
And I knew that exactly what you said, that this is a lonely business.
Right.
And we this is what we do for life.
Right.
Like our career is our life. Like this is where we spend most of our time working. You cannot be unhappy where you work. You can't walk into a building and feel like, I don't even want to be in here. Nobody wants me here. And so I just wanted to create a place where people feel good about walking in the building and knowing that they have a team behind them, you know, which is why, I mean, you and I have never had this conversation before. Like this is a fresh conversation, but you knew it and I knew it when we met each other, that you were the right fit and I was the right.
Well,
right
I appreciate that.
You.
Did you really feel that about me? Because sometimes I feel like I'm a square peg trying to get myself into a round hole.
No, I think you're rare. I think people like you are rare. So people
You're staring at me in my soul when you say that.
But it's true. Right. And I mean, and I think a lot of times I wouldn't say it's agents' faults. I truly think that this industry has kind of trained us to be against each other instead of for each other.
Right.
And so you're a really, really rare breed where you approach every transaction as like, I want to be your friend, you know, with the other agent.
That's very sweet of you. That's very sweet of you.
That is not the way most agents operate, but not with us, not at our brokerage. Like that's not the way that I preach. That's not the way that, you know, that we want to present ourselves. We want to have a good experience together to accomplish mutual goals together.
Have you ever fired an agent?
Oh my gosh. There's only been one. And I actually feel really bad about this one because there should have been more. But
I'm sorry.
There should have been. There should have been.
Okay.
But again, to my detriment, like I'm a giver. I
get it.
You know.
I get it.
So sometimes it's hard when you are such a caring. I don't want to like be patting myself on the back, but I do really care about people. So I let things go a little longer than they should. Yeah. I can only think of one agent that we've actually like proactively let go.
Yeah.
And it was at one of my team members' requests. So my team member was like, I absolutely cannot deal with this person any longer. And that is the only person I've let go to date.
Got hard, right?
So it was for my people. It wasn't for me. Like
right.
I gotta support my people.
Well, listen, it's very, very hard to, look, rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
If I could, I'd be wearing a hulu skirt and freaking puka beads and loving life every single day. Unfortunately, in our where we live, we have to cover up our torso and wear something over.
You don't have shoes on right now.
I don't have shoes on.
They don't know this,
that is true. I don't have shoes on, and I am wearing a bathing suit.
You are wearing.
All right.
A bathing suit
Okay.
as well.
So I'm getting as naked as I possibly could and without getting arrested.
The hula skirt,
okay. Without those. But my point is, it's about good vibes and good energy, and it's about living life and enjoying it. And I think that we get so caught up, like right off the bat. The problem is in our business, you think you're against the realtor on the other side. That's not true at all.
No.
You guys have the same common interest in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is to get your guy out and my guy in, or my guy out and your guy in together.
Yeah.
Every agreement has problems.
Yeah.
It's us to figure out the solution,
Right.
which is one of the reasons why I'm here, is because before I joined, and I know we have to go. Let me just tell you this 2 seconds. Before I joined the family here, I did an agreement with Franco and
one of our agents, and
Jennifer Shamu, who were absolutely amazing and amazing. Okay, and that was my first time working with an Innovate realtor, and it was such a great experience that when it came time for me to find a home, I'm like, those cats are bitching.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what's up with those guys. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Franco, I don't know if you remember me, Daniel Finder. Of course I remember you, homie.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Dude, need to find a home. Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, Suzanne, I really love you. Okay, and I cannot thank you enough for your generosity, for your sincerity, for your support. And I think you should also understand that throughout the agency, we all know who Mama is, okay? And we're not telling you got to make us Thanksgiving dinner every year, but you should know that we are very much appreciative of the family that you are creating, and we really truly hope that you keep on succeeding and never sell. Okay?
No, don't worry.
Right?
Don't
right?
worry.
Because I know for me that if you sell, this is one stop for me. Okay? So if you sell, I'm going to get my Class C driver's license and my Class A driver's license and just start driving trucks. All right, back and forth from New York and back because I found my home. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate everyone listening. Again, my name is Malibu Dan, and you're listening to In the Living Room.
Malibu Dan, your local realtor. Malibu Dan, the name to call. Buy or sell, he's got the plan. Trusted local, Malibu Dan. Malibu Dan.